Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness. In this video today, I'm going to be sharing with you the 4 most important things you need to know about the lunar eclipse in Libra, which is occurring on or around March 25th, 2024, depending on where it is that you're located in the world. This video is for you if you enjoy astrology, if you enjoy working with the moon cycles, or if you've just been feeling a little bit restless, a little bit anxious, maybe a bit of intensity of emotion welling up inside of you lately, and you're not really sure where it's coming from or what is going on. This video is going to help you immensely because we all feel this as we move toward any type of eclipse season. Eclipse season is a powerful time. We typically have 2 sets of eclipses within the year, and they do come in pairs. And so this first eclipse season at the beginning of the year begins, and it really opened up with the new moon in Pisces, but we're going to feel it really kicking into gear as we experience this lunar eclipse in Libra. And then the sister eclipse on April 8th in the sign of Aries is going to be a whopper. And we're going to do a whole other video on that energy. In this video, we're focusing specifically on the lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Libra. This is what's known as a prenumbral eclipse. That means that there is a little bit of a shadow of the earth falling upon the moon. And this brings us to the number 1 thing that you need to know and understand about this eclipse. There is a shadow energy connected to this particular eclipse because of the energy of the shadow falling over the moon, as well as this energy of a sextile to Pluto. A sextile is a positive aspect in astrology, but it does bring with it a sort of intensity of energy. Because it is a positive aspect, this means that Pluto is supporting our transformational journey. But Pluto is, of course, the lord of the underworld. So once again, we are working with these shadow themes and these shadow energies. Because this eclipse is taking place in the sign of Libra, we are most likely going to see our shadow reflected back to us through our relationships and our dealings with others. Libra energy ruling the 7th house is most directly associated with partnerships, such as romantic partnerships, marriages, business partnerships, but this can be any significant one-on-one relationships in your life. So really understanding and seeing ourselves and getting a deeper viewpoint into what makes us tick, into those wounds that still want to be healed, through the ways that we are interacting with other people and what this is showing us about ourselves. One of the key themes about this eclipse, and really any energy, if we want to work with it the most constructively, is not to look outside ourselves and place blame and to judge other people, but to see what that reflection is teaching us about ourselves. It's this energy of needing to go within. So just know and understand that there are going to be shadow aspects coming up. And this is all the reason for this is to give us a deeper understanding about our own truth, about it's introducing us to a deeper layer of ourselves, another layer of ourselves sort of unfurling and unfolding as we are moving through this energy. Our relationships are never going to be the same coming out of this eclipse as they were going in. All right. And so eclipses in general bring about endings and new beginnings. And sometimes this can be in a very dramatic fashion because remember, in eclipse season, we're dealing with a full moon eclipse and a new moon eclipse. All right. And full moons and new moons, particularly full moons, are full of emotion. They're supercharged energy. And the eclipses are it's like a full moon on steroids when we have a lunar eclipse. So it's really just taking all of that stuff, all of that emotion, everything that's been sort of trapped underneath the surface and bringing it up to the surface to be seen, to be known, and to be released. As lunar eclipses and full moons are typically a powerful time for releasing. Those of you who follow this channel, and if you don't, welcome. I would love to have you as a member of this tribe. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not yet and you're digging the vibe here. Those who follow, those who follow this channel know and understand that we are always in this process of digging up a deeper layer of ourselves, and that there is a lot that comes into our lens, into our viewpoint, a lot to be digested during this process. But the ultimate goal of this, especially in 2024, is aligning with our highest timeline. And we're really, a lot of this energetic preparation that we're receiving through all of these portals, which is essentially what eclipses are, what new moons and full moons are, all of these major astrological aspects are essentially portals. They open up portals of energy for us to receive some type of activation, some type of upgrade in a spiritual and an energetic and oftentimes a physical sense as well. So what we're being prepared for right now is the Lion's Gate, the 888 portal on August 8th, 2024, which breaks down to an 8. That's what makes it an 888. And I'm going to do separate videos on that as we continue getting closer to that energy. Just know that we are being prepared for that massive activation, that massive upgrade, for another aspect of our higher self to merge with this current version of us, with the aspects of our soul that are already currently incarnated, because your soul is so huge, so immense, and so powerful. We cannot fit all of our soul's energy in this tiny little vessel. And part of what this ascension process or this spiritual awakening, this raise in vibration frequency consciousness is all about, is allowing for more of the soul light, the soul essence to live within the body and upgrading the body to be a match to that energy. So as we're moving through this lunar eclipse, we are purging and releasing any of these energies, especially when they relate to not just our relationships to others, but also our relationship to ourselves and our relationship to spirit. So let it come up. Feel it, heal it, move through it, right? You know that old saying, the only way out is through? That is especially true when we are talking about our healing journey and when we're talking about emotion, and particularly trapped emotion. So there's a huge freeing aspect here. We have a lot of powerful Piscean energy, a lot of powerful Neptunian energy during this eclipse as well. And that's going to move us into number 2. As we are experiencing this eclipse, we are still experiencing a square between Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces has been an intense process that we've been undergoing for quite some time. Neptune nearing the final decan, the end of its reign in Pisces, coming into a square with the galactic center. And the galactic center is essentially this huge nexus of energy around which our entire galaxy rotates. Some people consider it to be representative of the grand central sun, of source energy itself. So this is when we have any planet coming into aspect with the galactic center, we're getting that huge boost of activational energy. And with Neptune here as the planet initiating this conversation with the galactic center, representing our higher self, representing the spirit, Neptune being that connecting planet that connects this solar system with whatever else is out there, right? The known with the unknown. It's a very powerful, powerful energy. So this energy in particular is, I believe, one of the driving forces behind the energy that I talked about in a different video that I did. And I'm going to link that video for you guys in case you want to watch that video next, where I talked about this energy of things that are out of alignment with our souls becoming so uncomfortable that we almost can't bear it anymore. And we're going to feel this particularly with this in relation to this lunar eclipse when it comes to our, you guessed it, relationships. So any of those relationships, any of those connections that are no longer in alignment, it's going to be so uncomfortable to be around this person. It's going to be so uncomfortable to be connected deeply on a soul level. We're going to notice and we're going to understand where it is that our soul contracts with these people have been closing out. And that brings me to number 3. There is a heavy karmic energy to this lunar eclipse. We have the nodes of fate being strongly activated here. We have the south node loosely conjunct the moon. And we have the north node loosely conjunct the sun. And as we move toward that eclipse on April 8th, the north node and the sun are going to get even closer. And during the new moon solar eclipse, on April 8th, the sun and the moon are going to be conjunct as they always are during a new moon, along with the north node, Chiron, and Mercury. So this is going to be really high voltage energy, all in the sign of Aries. All right, so the nodes, they're preparing us right now. And the south node is always opposing the north node. So the south node, all of this energy is going to be opposite the south node. So this is a huge point of karmic release. This is a huge point of that releasing the energies that no longer serve us. This is relating to belief systems. This is relating to perspectives, the way we see ourselves, the way we see the world, the way we see relationships, right? And like we said, really magnified in our relationships are going to be teaching us, what are these old belief systems that no longer are serving me? What is the way that I view the world? What is my perspective? What within me is wanting to shift so that my outer reality can shift as well? We are releasing powerful, outdated templates around relationships, not just our relationships with others, also our relationship, like we said, with ourselves, our relationship to spirit. There are many, many instances, and I found this even in my own, I don't know why I say even in my own, like that's surprising. We're all going through this journey. I found this in my own background as well when I dug back into certain things, when I was doing certain belief work and different types of ways of looking into past life and past life energies of situations from past lives where I had forsaken God because I had felt as though God had forsaken me. And this is a common theme that a lot of people experience. So for some of us, it's even those old belief systems, those old resentments against God, spirit, source, creator, whatever you want to call that undefinable energy, right? Our connection with that energy itself, our resentments against God itself, source itself, coming up to be cleared. Also old templates regarding the way that people relate to God, relate to source energy. The old template was, of course, God is something outside of you, right? That you are always seeking an outer connection to. And more importantly, you're seeking a lay person to be that connector for you. You're seeking a priest, you're seeking a shaman, you're seeking whatever it is, because you can't make that connection on your own. All right. And all the other dogma and stuff that goes with religious programming, right? The fear, the guilt, the shame, all the control tactics, all of those energies, all of those old templates falling away. But in particular, this template that says that you need somebody or something else to connect you to God, and God is out there somewhere. Because as we are all coming to know and realize we are divine, God is within us. We are sparks of God force energy. We are God in human expression, having a human experience, having a multidimensional experience, in fact. Right? We are God experiencing itself through a myriad of forms. And so there's a falling away of those old templates and a deepening of that understanding that everything that we need is within ourselves, right? Our connection to God, that we don't need a layperson. We don't need a middleman because we are God. And when we get quiet, when we get centered within ourselves, when we strip away all the layers of conditioning and programming, all of the guilt, all the shame, all the things that also taught us that we weren't worthy of having that connection, we come into that resonance with ourselves as source and with that God energy. So this is really, really beautiful stuff, you guys. And if you're saying, I don't think I could ever get there, that's a whole lot of work. Like what you're talking about seems so out of reach. It's not, it's possible. If it's possible for me, it's possible for any of you. I have gone through so many different phases and layers of humanness and of this human experience in this lifetime. I was a drug addict for 10 years. All right. I lived in the fringes of society. I lived very much in an opposing energy to what we would consider like spiritual principles, right? Really like dove deep into the darkness for a really, really long time. I am in many ways, shapes, and forms the last person that people would consider or imagine would be spiritual in that, whatever that means, right? We have all these labels and all these codes of conduct that we assign to different people, right? And that's another template that's falling away. We are all divine, all right? If I can come out of the bowels of addiction, out of the bowels of depravity and hedonism, I mean, my entire life was essentially like a celebration of ego and a celebration of self-gratification. If I can move out of that energy, if I can heal from all the mostly self-inflicted trauma and come to a place where I can recognize and embrace that God force within me, anybody can do it. And if you want assistance with that, I offer a whole variety of services that can help with that. So please check out my info in the description box below. just as a little caveat there. But this process, once again, right, what am I in that process? I'm a middleman. So ultimately, if we are seeking out a middleman to be of assistance, and we all need that assistance sometimes, essentially what that person is doing, we're no longer thinking like, okay, I need this person permanently to be my go-between between myself and source. No, that person, what a true guide in this journey is, and what it is that I do, they place your hand in the hand of spirit. They teach you how to forge that connection for yourself. All right. Ultimately, you are all you need in this process. Like you are so powerful. You are so incredible. And this eclipse season, I really, really hope that each and every single one of us sees this and feels this on a deeper level. All right. So all those old templates being dissolved, if we allow it. Neptune, as we know, is the great dissolver. That's one of the ways that we describe Neptunian energy, right? So allow Neptune to dissolve all of that. Allow Neptune to dissolve the shame, the guilt, any of these lower emotions that are preventing you. And by lower, I just mean lower vibration. All right. They're not good or bad. They just are. However, what they are doing is preventing that deeper connection. And so it's allowing the dissolution of that. And we allow that by feeling it as it comes up, instead of trying to run from it, instead of trying to distract ourselves, being in that energy. And then calling in the light of our higher self, calling in the light of unconditional love and acceptance to meet that energy and naturally begin the process of alchemizing it. All right, we do it by loving ourselves through the discomfort. It's oh my God, the energy is just, I'm feeling it right now, the way it's going to be flowing in and offering us this opportunity to let go of all of that. I see it like this. It's like this tar-like substance that's just like the emotion, and the allowing ourselves to feel the emotion is just like gently dissolving it. Right? Like watering it down and breaking it up to the point where it's able to just be washed away. It's so beautiful. So beautiful, you guys. So releasing all of that, releasing those outdated soul contracts, calling in new soul contracts. And we're going to feel that energy, particularly also when we're moving to, like we said, the new moon, the total solar eclipse is very much about calling energy in, but we're going to be beginning that process now. So we may see relationships ending around this time. We may see new ones being formed, and it is likely that they are karmic, but karmic isn't always bad. Karmic means they are there for our growth. So really, in every way, shape, and form, most relationships are karmic, right? Because they're assisting us in this process of soul evolution. So we're calling in the relationships that are ready to take us to the next level of evolution, and noticing where it is that our current relationships may no longer be supporting that. And that's when we know that a connection has sort of reached its finale. Is when we're no longer growing. It's no longer motivating us to shift or change. It's no longer teaching us anything. And sometimes we think that it is, but it's the same lesson over and over again. And so some people may be noticing that, where it is that they've been hitting their head against a brick wall with some type of cycle in their or relationship in their lives. And it's like, okay, it's the same lesson. So now it's less about the awareness, and now it's about the action, right? We've been in the process of the awareness, starting to move through the breakthrough. We may experience a breakdown during this time. And after that, we will, like the breakdown and the breakthrough are intricately connected, right? And once we move through that energy to the other side, that's when it gets really good, right? And a lot of us are at that piece where it's like what we're missing is the action that takes us out of that cycle and into a new one. And for a lot of people, that action is closing out that old cycle, just disconnecting ourselves from that old energy. All right. The fourth thing to know about this eclipse is that during this eclipse, we have Venus and Saturn in a conjunction in the sign of Pisces, and they're actually being sextiled by Jupiter in Taurus. So this is an absolutely gorgeous energy. And this energy is all about taking responsibility, energetic responsibility for our creations. It's about energetic, spiritual connections in partnership. And so this is where we're looking and we're desiring that deeper spiritual connection in every aspect, in every area of our lives. And this energy is really just reinforcing everything else that we've already talked about. It's reinforcing the releasing of those old templates. It's reinforcing that understanding of needing to take energetic responsibility for our creations and for our roles in our own relationships. And so a little bit of this is kind of a repeat, but sometimes we need the message repeated so that it can sink in a little bit deeper. And so as we're working through this energy here, we're going to be noticing the things coming up within us. And a lot of times, like when we notice what's not working in our partnerships and our friendships, we want to kind of point the finger and be like, okay, this person is doing that wrong. This person isn't doing this. This person isn't giving me this. But maybe we could instead, this is the invitation, right? We could instead look at how am I participating in this relationship? What am I giving? What am I offering? Even like, what is my perception of this person? Because you would be astounded at how powerfully our interactions with people can shift when we simply perceive them in a different light. Because remember, everything is a reflection. Everything is a mirror, and we are constantly creating our reality. So our expectations of people influence the way that they behave toward us. So simply by working on ourselves, by healing our own wounds, and by shifting our perceptions and our belief systems and the mental chatter and the things that we tell ourselves about our partners, about our friends, about our family and connections, we can begin shifting the energy of that relationship, and we can really begin assisting them as well. Because as we see them in their highest, we give them an unspoken energetic invitation to step into that energy. All right, to begin embracing their energetic potential. So this is really, really beautiful stuff. And a lot of us are going to be looking at that. What is the potential of this connection on a spiritual level? Is this elevating me? Does this have the potential to take me higher? And we are going to be looking at how we are connecting and the ways that we can bridge if we are not spiritually connected with our friends, with our partners. How is it that we can create that bridge that allows for that connection to deepen? And remember, we're also looking at this when it comes to the self. How can I connect and deepen that relationship with myself? What is the self-talk that I engage in? How do I see myself? How can I begin to shift that energy? And the most powerful thing, or one of the most powerful things about this lunar eclipse, is its ability to show us the truth. And not the truth about the outside world. Once again, the truth about ourselves. And once we see ourselves more clearly, we then have that awareness that allows us to begin to shift, that awareness that stimulates the breakthrough. This is also giving us a much clearer picture of our wants, our needs, and our desires. And then we move into that eclipse in Aries, which is all about beginning to actualize those desires and really moving through the wounds and the pain patterns that keep us unable to move forward. And like I said, we're going to get into that in another video. But just know, this eclipse is giving us the clarity that we need and stripping away the layers that need to be stripped away so that we can maximize that energy of that second eclipse at the beginning of April. So huge, huge stuff, you guys. That Venus and Saturn there being sextiled by Jupiter is just expanding that energy more. So it's giving us this powerful opportunity for spiritual expansion, also creative expansion, because Venus does also represent our creative energy in many senses. And so this is where we can really start committing. And so, like I said, there's going to be lots of breakups around this time. There also are going to be instances when we are in an aligned partnership where we're taking things to the next level. This could be getting into a relationship if we're in a situationship with somebody, getting married if we have been in a long-term relationship with somebody. This could be officially entering into a business partnership with somebody that we've been kind of working with or talking to and thinking about working with, because we realize that we are energetically and spiritually aligned, that our vision is aligned. And this is a big energy here, understanding where, with who and what is our vision aligned. And really with that Saturnian energy, taking the concrete steps and making the concrete plans to move that forward. When we have Saturn in Pisces, this is all about anchoring that spiritual energy into the practical 3D realm. And so we're going to get a huge burst, perhaps some huge inspiration around the ways to do that, and really begin kind of pulling up our boots and taking those steps. It's like if we've been kind of surveying the road, surveying the terrain ahead, and we weren't really sure if we were ready to walk it yet. As we move through eclipse season and move through the other side, we are putting on those boots and we are getting out there on that path. All right. There is an energy here of stepping into the unknown. There always is. And so it's like, we may not know the whole trail. We may have been waiting for a map, and we may not, it's kind of like if we were downloading a map on our phone, the whole map hasn't downloaded yet, but we know that it's time to start walking anywhere anyway. And we have that trust and faith that we are going to know where to go as we get moving. So really powerful stuff. So incredible. The shifts that are available to us if we decide to work constructively with this energy. I'm excited for it. I want to know what you guys are excited for. I want to know how you're feeling this energy. Have you been feeling heavy? Have you been feeling anxious? Have you been feeling excited? Have you been feeling a whole bunch of different things? Remember, we can feel both things at once. We can be anxious, excited. We can be sad and happy. It's not this either or energy, right? We're moving out of this energy of polarity where it can only be one or the other. It's understanding that we can be all of these things at once. So what are you feeling? What are you excited about when it comes to this eclipse season? What are your intentions that you are setting? What is it that you're wanting to release, that you're ready to release? What is it that you're ready to move towards? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like it. Make sure, like I said, if you're new to this channel and you enjoyed this video, that you subscribe so you don't miss out on any more content. Like I said, I'm going to be putting out that second eclipse video very shortly here. We're going to be getting into all kinds of other astrological topics, all kinds of other portal energies as well. We do live streams all the time. So much fun stuff. If anybody on here has not joined the Patreon yet and you want to join the Patreon, there is a link for that in the description box below. We are going to be doing bi-weekly live calls over Zoom where we really work with these energies consciously on an energetic level together. It's going to be really, really beautiful. We're going to be kicking that off with the equinox on Tuesday, the 19th. That energy is just really working with the energies of this eclipse, I feel, to begin opening up these energies. And it's beginning to bring in that fresh Aries energy, right, that we're really going to be capitalizing on as we move through that eclipse on the 8th. Like I said, I also offer all kinds of individual services. If you like my energy, if you're feeling drawn to work with me one-on-one, go ahead and check those out. Go ahead and check out my website. I love you. I honor you. I respect you. I am so excited to see what continues to develop for each and every single one of us. Much love to you all. I'll catch you in the next video.